Hi folks, John Isaac here. Think of it, a gorgeous building with people filing in by the hundreds, shouting and singing, waving their hands to the music, but something is deathly wrong. God is not there. Why? Because He is not being worshipped. The people being led by a smiling, boy-faced preacher who seems to know less about the Bible and the true nature of God than a first-week seminary student. The only reality he knows is money, money, money. He leads them through musical repetitions while they raise their hands vaingloriously to what amounts to me, me, me. What's going on here, you say? 2 Thessalonians, 2nd verse, 2nd chapter, verse 9, 10, and 11. The coming of the lawless one is according to the work of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish, because they did not receive love and truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Folks, if you're part of this, I beg you, run. Just run. I pray God will truly bless you. Thank you.
What they did, pay go is a rule that says if you introduce legislation that's going to increase the budget deficit, require new resources, you got to find a way to pay for it. Well, in this case, she said, if it deals with the climate, we don't have to do that. And if it deals with anything related to COVID-19, you don't have to do that. Well, you can imagine with COVID, people can connect anything to that. So basically, they're going to try to use that to push through the Green New Deal. They're going to try to use it to push through things like Medicare for All, which we know end up being basically great, not so great health care for really anybody. That's the kind of thing they're going to try to push through. But Charles, they're going to try to censor social media by members of Congress. She's going to try to play, at Jack at Twitter and tell people what's appropriate, what's not. I mean, who's going to decide those things? They're putting in an Office of Diversity and Inclusion, which will basically be quotas for Hill staff. And she wants to increase congressional oversight. They want to be able to increase their powers to bring people before congressional committees. Is that really what we need Congress doing more of? I don't think so.
Yeah, Democrats are giving themselves more power, taking away the voice and power from the Republicans who are now the minority. I've got a little bit of time, but you hit on this earlier, the eliminating terms like father, son, mother, daughter, grandmother, grandfather. I mean, what's the point? And by the way, how will people even greet each other in the halls of Congress?
Well, as one of my colleagues noted, if you look at Nancy Pelosi's Twitter handle and her description of who she is, she says mother and grandmother. She better get rid of that stuff because apparently now members of Congress can't use that language. It's ludicrous, Charles. This is not what the American people voted for. And as you know, the House of Representatives is supposed to be called the People's House. I don't think that's what the people of America are wanting their elected officials to focus on.
We are in a battle for the soul of this nation.
Pursuant to the 20th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, for the meeting of the 117th Congress of the United States, the House will come to order. The prayer will be offered by Reverend Emmanuel Cleaver, St. James United Methodist Church, Kansas City, Missouri.
Eternal God, noiselessly, we bow before your throne of grace as we leave behind the politically and socially clamorous year of 2020. We gather now in this consequential chamber to inaugurate another chapter in our roller coaster representative government. The members of this august body acknowledge your sacred supremacy and therefore confess that without your favor and forbearance, we enter this new year relying dangerously on our own fallible nature. God, at a moment when many believe that the bright light of democracy is beginning to dim, empower us with an extra dose of commitment to its principles. May we of the 117th Congress refuel the lamp of liberty so brimful that generations unborn will witness its undying flame. And may we model community healing, control our tribal tendencies, and quicken our spirit, that we may feel thy priestly presence even in moments of heightened disagreement. May we so feel your presence that our service here may not be soiled by any utterances or acts unworthy of this high office. Insert in our spirit a light so bright that we can see ourselves in our politics as we really are, soiled by selfishness, perverted by prejudice, and inveigled by ideology. Now may the God who created the world and everything in it bless us and keep us. May the Lord make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May the Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon us and give us peace. Peace in our families, peace across this land, and dare I ask, O Lord, peace even in this chamber, now and evermore. We ask it in the name of the monotheistic God, Brahma.
We are in a battle for the soul of this nation.
God known by many names, by many different faiths. Amen and amen.
When he said after Charlottesville, there were, and I quote, very fine people on both sides. I said then it gave license and safe harbor to white supremacists and neo-Nazis and to the Ku Klux Klan. These words not only stunned America, but they stunned the world. And in doing so, he assigned a moral equivalence between those spewing hate and those with the courage to stand against it. I said at the time, we're in a battle for the soul of this nation. I said it again when I announced my candidacy. And I say it here today. We are in a battle for the soul of this nation.
The choice was, well, do we chase those people, not knowing what they're going to say, to the courts for years, or do we go forward with a powerful, thundering case that we have, and also knowing that Mitch McConnell was already telling us that he believed the challenge was a jurisdictional one, so we could have called God herself. And the Republicans weren't going to be willing to convict, so we're proud.